Hello YouTube and welcome back. This is our first Listener League draft. So as you see here to the right, we're going to be getting started with our Listener League. Now before we go into strategy and all that kind of good stuff, I'm only recording this. It's not being live streamed. So what you're seeing here is a past draft, but it's good to walk through strategy. So there's not going to be any stream sniping or anything like that from a live stream. So this time you get to see really what I'm thinking and kind of reacting to the draft. So going through what it is, so it's a little bit of an interesting setup. There's no bench, so it's a really important piece that I have a feeling a lot of people are going to forget in the draft. So that means that every single player you take is going to play. You don't really necessarily need to do roster maximization. You can maximize how many total games you get, but from a standpoint of like, oh, well, the tiebreaker being, how many games or off nights do they play, that doesn't really matter. What really matters is how good. So I'm looking at least specifically at just getting the best guy possible. So there's 3 centers, 3 left wings, 3 right wings, 5 defensemen, 1 util spot, 2 goalies, and I don't know why it says there's a bench spot. There shouldn't be a bench spot. But there's center, left wing, right wing, defense, and util. And that's it. For stat categories, it's a bangers league, so you're looking at goals, assists, PIMs, power play points, shots on goal, hits, blocks, and then for goaltenders, it's only wins, goals against average, and save percentage. So again, it's an averages league, which means that goaltenders are most likely going to get faded a little bit harder than normal. So now looking over at my strategy here. So like I've said in a lot of mock drafts now so far, I want to fade defensemen pretty hard. I want to fade centers really hard, to the point that I have the 4th overall pick. I'm the team called Land Before Petey. So I'm going to fade centers quite hard. And as you see, McKinnon is probably going to fall to me, I think, at 4, I mean. Most likely, I think the top 3 will be Ovechkin, Kucherov, and McDavid. Although, who knows? We're drafting with people who listen to the podcast, and there's a good chance that they're either using my tool, using our draft tool, or kind of using their own rankings, which means that they have a pretty clear idea of who's, good or who's not. So there's a chance that the guys I want don't get to me. I think Brent Burns is going to fall to me, and that's who I want. I want Brent Burns because, in my eyes, the way that this will work perfectly is if I have Brent Burns first, if Brent Burns is my first guy, then that means that on that next turn, so picks, what is it here? Picks 21 and 28, I don't need to worry about grabbing a defenseman there. If I don't grab Burns with my first one, what ends up happening is I need to worry and hope that a defenseman that I want falls to me. Whereas instead, if I can get Burns here at the 4th, I am solid. And not to mention that Burns has extremely low variance between his cats, which pretty much means he covers all your stats really, really strongly. Apologies, just ate a bunch of beans. One of the big differences is that Burns just covers so many categories. The one that he leaves me a little bit hurting in his goals, but what that means is I can then target specifically goal guys. Okay, and the draft is live. So Carmichael apparently seems to have set rankings, I think, so I don't think they're drafting right now. So they will be taking Nikita Kucherov 1st overall. Yes, that is what happens. So he takes Kucherov off the board, and we'll be paying attention here, and it's a minute per pick, which is a big thing. So then Ovechkin goes 2nd overall, makes total sense, and curious to see what happens on the 3rd. And McDavid goes 3rd. So this leaves me in an interesting spot. Now, this is exactly like we were talking about, exactly how I thought the draft would go. Now, it's a little bit weird. I could go McKinnon. McKinnon is what you would think is 3 here. And it seems like, oh my gosh, he fell to me. Now, the problem for me is that he's a center. And like I said, centers are so damn deep. And it's hard to justify taking a center there. And so, really, I'm going to go a little off the board from what people expect in the 4th overall. And I know we say all the time, don't overthink it. But the truth of the matter is, this league, at least, with blocks especially, Brent Burns gains even more value. And it just leaves me, in my opinion, in a better spot to pick a forward that falls in the 21st or the 28th. And not to mention, sometimes when someone goes kind of what you don't expect in a draft, it actually makes other people do weird things. So we'll see what happens. So let's take Brent Burns and see what happens here. I don't think many people are going to expect me taking Brent Burns there. That would be my expectation with that. Oh, Discord is open. Yeah, my expectation is people are not going to see Brent Burns coming. And then, of course, McKinnon goes 5th. Like that's what you'd expect. And I'll go through as well after, and I'm putting this all into the tool, so we'll also kind of reference the tool and look at ranks and things like that. So, you know, we'll keep that handy as the draft goes on, and I'll also show the draft leaderboard so far, and how that's looking. So I feel good because I'm immediately in an advantage from a blocks perspective, and I'm getting great power play points. So I'm feeling good about that Burns pick. It's a little risky, I'll admit, especially to leave McKinnon on the table, but just so many centers later, this just means that I'm going to reach earlier for a Larkin or a Zibanejad or one of those guys that'll fill out my category as well. And of course, Wheeler is, like, if Wheeler were to get to me, he's not, but if Wheeler were to get to me, that'd be amazing. I'm just going to put here a few guys that I'd like in this next pick. Evander Kane, I need to prioritize and take really early, actually. So Pasternak and Marchand go. Vasilevsky goes 8th, which makes sense. That's pretty similar to what we've been talking about. Vasilevsky, Stammer. Yeah, Stamkos there. You know, that's the thing with Stamkos is I love Stamkos, but the fact that he's getting there, that it's center early, right? That makes a big deal. And the fact, I mean, Kane at 10 is a fantastic grab. That's a real good grab late. That's exactly what I want. Brandon goes Crosby, which is very surprising to me. I didn't expect him to go Crosby there. So on this next turn, I may actually do I have a slightly interesting strategy that I'm thinking of where a few options. I have a good defenseman, so I'm eyeing Bob if he's still there. Like I've said before, I like Bob a lot, so I think getting someone like Bob early is a good idea, especially in a no-bench league. And it gives me the ability to fade goaltenders really, really late. The other thing that I can do in this league that I like is I could go a defenseman again, actually. I could go like a John Carlson. Remember, there's blocks, so defensemen are actually more valuable than they normally would be. So, for example, in this league, I have John Carlson ranked. Let me find him here. I have him ranked 25th. So somewhere around where, you know, I'd be taking him. I don't hate it in that 21st, 28th spot to take John Carlson. It's not bad, and you get, you know, 2 of the best defensemen in the league, and there's 5 defense spots, so defensemen matter quite a bit, and no bench, so you know they all count. Let's continue here to. I want to keep getting some. Oh, there's some Buffalo news. Oh, they suspended him, right? Because it helps them with the cap situation. So let's keep marking here guys that I like. I obviously like Tom Wilson. Landeskog is actually one of the guys I will hands down reach for. Landeskog by my sheet is ranked 13th overall. They have him ranked 35th. So I definitely would happily reach for Gabriel Landeskog in that next round, especially with the center left wing eligibility. That's a fantastic get. So definitely going to be eyeing him. I like Zibanejad. Jamie Benn is actually a very interesting target that I want in this league, somewhat late. Brady Tkachuk, of course, is somebody I like. So this draft, you know, we're drafting with Erik Karlsson goes. So yeah, Brandon gets Erik Karlsson, so he goes center and then defenseman. It's tough. I think if I don't go goalie this next one, I may have to fade goaltenders a little farther than I'd even think, which is a little bit unsettling. I also am debating reaching for Evander Kane if it. I'm debating reaching for him. I have Evander Kane ranked. Where do I have him here? I have him ranked 8th in the league, and the thing with that is he's actually maybe a little bit under projected because there's a chance that he gets top power play. He only has 9 power play points right now. There's a very good chance he gets top power play. So I may reach for Evander Kane, to be honest. It's a weird thing to say, but I think he'd fill out a lot of cats for me, and so much upside with those power play points. So I would maybe go Evander Kane and then go John Carlson next. Potentially, or I'd go I think that's what I'd do. Okay, so I may do next. I may do Landeskog and then Evander Kane. Although I don't know if Evander Kane's gonna get to me, or Landeskog. But I do like both of those. We'll see if they even get to me, to be honest. But I'm starting to plan here. I'm starting to think. Evander Kane in our mocks went like 4th round, so reaching for him in like the 2nd or 3rd is fine. And one person is autoing here, Carmichael. I think they might have set rankings, not positive. Draisaitl, I like that. I like that spot for Draisaitl. Now that he has left wing, I like it a lot more. Sagan. This draft is actually going different than I expected. I think people are scared to take the people they want, which is fine. I think this draft for me, because it's a benchless league, I think for personally, I think that in a benchless league like this, you get the guys you want. Simple. There's value drafting. Yes, value draft, but you've got to be smart with the value drafting. Okay, so I'm about to be up. Eichel, I hope he doesn't take Landeskog. I'm happy to reach for Landeskog here. Evander Kane is the big question mark. I don't know if someone will take him this early. I really like Malkin as well. Malkin is also a big... The thing I like about Landeskog too, though, and the Matthews goes, I love it. Okay, so we're going to go Landeskog here. One of the things I love about Landeskog the most is that he's also a very, very... he's also a very low variance guy, so that means that he's just very well covered across all categories as well. So I'm going to take Gabriel Landeskog here. It makes me extremely happy that I got him. That was kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to go Landeskog around there. When you have a guy that's ranked 8th overall in the league or 13th overall in the league, that's exactly what you want to get him at. If I can get him there, that's value drafting to a T. And then Bobrovsky goes right after me, kind of how I expected. So now this next pick, if Evander Kane is not there, I may go Malkin if he's not there. The other option is going John Carlson, which I've thought about. Tavares is also there. I'd like Tavares. Tavares I have ranked 23rd overall, so I'd get one of the best centers in the game as well. But we'll see if he gets there. My hope here is that some goaltenders start to go. And if some goaltenders start to go, it really leaves me with a lot of options. The difficulty is that if I go... Okay, now Tavares goes, so I don't even have to worry about that, which is nice. Now I just got to hope Evander Kane gets to me. It seems like they do have rankings set because this team that's autoing does seem like they have rankings because otherwise... Otherwise, it'd be tough. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to go with Evander Kane here. I could go... I'm struggling between Kane, who's left wing, which is nice. I don't... Like I said, I'm gonna continue to fade. I'm gonna continue to fade centers here. Or I could go John Carlson, who is the next best defenseman after Darnell Nurse. But again, with Darnell Nurse, I'm a little bit hesitant. Victor Hedman goes, so I'm up next. I thought Hedman would go, and then Barkov goes. So I think I'm of the opinion here that if I wait on Kane, I don't get him. Instead, I get another top 10 guy. If you look at the draft leaderboard right now as it stands, I'm weak in goals and assists, very good in peripheral so far. And I think Evander Kane is a little underrated, so to say. I could go John Carlson and get a ton of points and hope that someone like him falls to me. There's also a Timo Meyer type. God. We're taking Kane. That's it. It's happening. I reached. I'm going to do it. Like I said, I think this draft, if I've learned anything from my mocks recently, is I'm going to get the guy I want. And I think by taking in Evander Kane, it might help a John Carlson get to me. And if John Carlson doesn't get to me, that's okay. There's some comparables. And I think the thing with Evander Kane to me is that he's ranked, 9th or 10th or whatever it is right now with no power play point upside. But he's supposedly right now taking over that top power play on San Jose. So there's a lot of upside when it comes to power play points. And that's what I want to capitalize on. So I'm pretty much set now in shots on goal, hits, and PIMs in a very good way. So on this next pick here, I don't need to prioritize a hitter. I really want to prioritize a point getter more than anything. And so Timo Meier is one that stands out to me that I'm happy to reach for a little bit. Have him ranked 28th. I also kind of want to get I think I would get a defenseman and a forward on this turn next. I also like Dylan Larkin, to be honest, as an upside guy. Also very low variance. Kind of fills out a ton of categories for you. So that's one thing I need to take a look at here. And Johnny Gaudreau goes right after me. So let's take a look here. This is the draft board so far. Here's the leaderboard, kind of how I'm looking. Looking pretty good. High in PIMs, high in shots on goal, low on variance, which is good, 3.9. But looking really strong here. I think as we see, like power play points, I want to get improve, and I want to improve goals and assists as well. The fact that I have Evander Kane makes me a little bit more hesitant on Meier, but as we look at the player rankings and what's kind of still out there, you still see Tom Wilson is there. Tom Wilson in a league like this is good, especially with PIMs, obviously, but that high variance, because it's, that high ranking is because of PIMs. So that's why I use this variance is, okay, he's ranked high, but this means it's mostly towards one category. So Dylan Larkin is one guy I really like to get. I'd like to get Giordano. Giordano, I think, is a defenseman I can get pretty late, especially if John Carlson goes. That's an option. Radulov is interesting. I like the left wing, right wing on Timo Meier. But again, with a benchless league, left wing, right wing doesn't really matter, right? That much at least. It just matters for total composition of what you're doing. You have Sebastian Aho is still out there, which is cool. So there's a lot of options still as to what to do. Oh, that's us. So Gaudreau, Tarasenko. I liked Tarasenko a lot. That was kind of one of the people that I was eyeing at some point to take eventually, just to help fix my goal situation. But as far as a goal situation, which I know I'm going to be low in, I'm targeting I'm targeting later, like an Arvidsson, for example, would be really good, because I'm going to be so filled out on peripherals that late I can focus a little bit on goals while still not really being hurt on power play points. So I like John Carlson. Let's find Giordano in here. I like Giordano a lot. Fleury. So if we look at standings, I'm in second right now, which is good. So, we have a Vincent Trocheck as well, which is a great center to have. I'm not sure where I have Trocheck ranked. Let's see here. Where do we have Trocheck? We have him ranked 41st, so a little lower than other people, but that's okay. We like Giordano. Goalies are starting to go. This is great for me. I mean, I'll take goalies falling a little bit, or goalies going a little bit earlier. Lets me get the guys I want. We obviously like Brady Tkachuk. We like Timo Meier. Love Dylan Larkin, of course. Jake Gensel goes. Cool. I'm shocked Sebastian Aho is still out there. That might be my first center. I don't know why he's still there. He's ranked way too low. They have him ranked 80th. I have Sebastian Aho ranked 32nd. Wow. Okay, so that could be a steal for me there a little bit later. Yeah, that's low. We do like Chris Letang. I kind of like all these people here on the top, to be honest. A few Giordano's kind of sticking out down here at the bottom. Brandon is up now, so let's see what he does. Brandon goes. Oh, that's Mefnik. Sorry, Brandon went Gensel. My bad. I didn't see that. Oh, because I missed these picks here. So Brandon got Gensel. Brandon has Crosby and Gensel now, so he has a little bit of a stack there. Brandon's kind of in the middle here. Actually, the goalie I really want in this league is Binnington. I think the team in front of him is going to play really well. And so for that reason, I want Binnington as like that's kind of like my top goaltender to grab. He's 4th on my rankings, so it's a big deal. And then Pekka Rinne is 5th for me, so that's fine. Dubnyk and Grubauer are big. Grubauer for me is a big one, as is Dubnyk. That's kind of my perfect goaltending would be Binnington and one of Dubnyk or Grubauer. Yeah, so this draft so far for me, I've gone who I want. I'm getting the guys I want. and that's okay, I think. So I think if Carlson gets to me here, I'll go John Carlson, get another defenseman. There's just so many forwards that I like left that will potentially go later that I'm okay. And then I want to get one of Larkin or Zibanejad or Trocheck. I think I'm going to prioritize one of those guys. But with Sebastian Aho being there, that would ease it up if Aho is there on the next turn. So at 52, if he falls to 52, that'd be insane. But I'm okay if he's not. If he doesn't get to me at 52, I'd rather have Carlson and then reach a little bit for one of Zibanejad or Larkin. So far, the draft has gone very well for me, I'd say. It's gone almost exactly how I expected and what I wanted. And this is exactly why I want Brent Burns early. So now I need to focus a little bit on points. And that's why I like Aho. His point upside is insane. And so, and I mean, John Carlson will get me points and assists. Braden Point is somewhat interesting. There's obviously the fear of him not signing anytime soon. But yeah, right now, from a peripheral standpoint, I'm okay. And I'm hoping to be okay even more so later. One interesting option really late would be Line A, because with Line A I could get goals, and that's one of the places. So John Carlson just went, which kind of sucks, but that's okay. Jamie Benn went. Okay, so I'm 2 picks away here. If we look at kind of the rankings and what's left, I do like Giordano would be a little bit of a reach here. Bummed John Carlson went. That was great value for him there. But we're seeing a lot of defensemen go, so I may have to just take Gio here. I might be able to get him on that next. I might be able to get Aho and then Giordano on the next turn though. So if I can do that. The other fear here is that Larkin may go earlier. I may reach a little bit for Larkin. Huberdeau is a really big one that I want to prioritize at some point too. A great left wing option with a lot of assists and power play points. Dahlin is someone I think will fall quite a bit. Could also get my goaltender here in Pecorine and potentially get Bennington later. Yeah, I mean, I could go Rene. I think Aho's the move here. You know, when you're looking at the points, most goals is Arvidsson, most assists left is Giroux, most power play points you're looking at. Man, see, Aho's staring me in the face here. Let's see where Giroux is in rankings really quick, just for a second. Giroux is 56, so I don't want him. I think I'm going to reach for Aho a little bit. Actually, let's go Aho, I guess. Yeah, let's take Aho. That's okay. Just get my first center off the board. Makes me a little bit less cautious to have to get, one of... makes me less nervous to have to get one of... Oh, then Line A goes right after. Okay, cool. And then Giroux. That's what I thought. Makes me less nervous in terms of having to get one of Larkin or Zibanejad. But that should help me out quite a bit in points on the leaderboard. And it does. Yep. Puts me towards the top in almost everything. So, feeling good. I think on this next pick, I'm leaning Giordano or Bennington. I have a great forward core so far that I've built. I have a good defenseman, and I need a goaltender. And so I think on the next turn, I could go defenseman. I could go for like a Dahlin or something like that. I mean, I really want Giordano because of his blocks more than anything. I guess I could go Dubnyk and Grubauer on like a turn if they fall. I guess I could do something like that if I really wanted to. And you've got to be careful in this league. There's 3 centers too, which I completely forgot about. So that's good. That's good for me. I'd put Landeskog in a left wing. I really wish you could switch what position people are in, because I mean it's kind of weird that it doesn't do that. Marchessault. Oh, this is making it. March so, and then DeBrincat goes. Man, I'm in a little bit of a pickle here, aren't I? So I said I was going to take, you know, Matthew Tkachuk is actually really interesting too at left wing. That he's still there. So is Giordano. And Braden Point. Braden Point would be great for late. I think I'm actually going to go Matthew Tkachuk. Oh, he has the RFA thing. He'll fall farther. That's okay. Let's get let's think about this here. I could just go Larkin too and get my guy. Let's get my guy in Larkin. I want Dylan Larkin. Yeah, let's just get my guy. I'm very high on Dylan Larkin. Like I have him ranked 19th on the board, so that's huge for me. I mean, if I can get, I think my next top people, I would love to get Giordano up there. I'd love to get, and I know I kind of said, you know, I was fading centers, but what I've said recently is I want to fade centers, but I want to fade to get the guys I want. And so now I have an elite defenseman, great wingers in Landeskog and Kane, and then, you know, we have Aho and Larkin now. I have one more spot which I can get Zibanejad in, and then Matthew Tkachuk goes right after me. But you know, the whole RFA thing right now is still too up in the air. I'm happy to let him pass, as much as it pains me. It's okay. There's still a lot of wingers out there that I like. Brady Tkachuk is someone I may reach for at some point, but you know, that might be a peripheral thing. I think Huberdeau is a really good next option as well. Huberdeau would be really good for me. So let's take a look at this draft leaderboard here. So here's kind of how I'm shaping up. Pretty fantastic, low, you know, kind of high variance right now. I think I need to get my blocks up, and that's where I think Giordano in this next one could be really, really good for me. I only have one defenseman, whereas, you know, Brandon has two. That's why he's doing so well in blocks. So I think if I can get a Giordano, I'd be in a really good spot. But I'm doing really, really well in everything else. High in shots on goal. Doing well in hits still, competitive in hits. Not like I could maybe be doing a little better, but you know, Brady Tkachuk or something like that would help there. But I feel good. I'm feeling good so far. So Giordano and then a goaltender, I think, is the plan next round. Let's get one of the goaltenders I want. Rene went, which is fine. Trouba went. Brady Tkachuk went. So I think that by me taking Larkin, may have spawned a Brady Tkachuk going and a Trouba going, like these kind of more sleeper guys. I think now in this draft is when we're going to start to see people grab. I think this is when we'll start to see people grab just the guys they want. Maybe we'll see if that. We'll see if that actually is what ends up happening. Damn. Then he goes. I want a Huberdeau. Okay, so we're starting to see my list go down a little bit, which is fine. Yeah, and then after this, I think I got to start prioritizing my wings a little bit, which is fine. We start kind of looking down the list here at what I like. I obviously like Svechnikov. Torrey Krug, that's fine with me. I'm so hoping Giordano gets to me. That'd be huge. Drew Doughty is another defenseman I actually really, really want, and I may have to reach a little bit for him. Not on these next two turns, but a turn after I may need to. Zibanejad goes. So that's what. So I think now what's happening is we're seeing the guys go that you know, people want. So I'm glad that I got my guy in Dylan Larkin, because now at this stage people are saying, oh crap, okay, the people I want are going. I need to just grab whoever's the best. So that's kind of what we're starting to see. I'm still feeling really good. I'm still in a super, super good spot. I think if we go to standings, I'm in 5th, but that's okay. I also have, we'd be even here, but I'm feeling, there's a few people. Aho, for example, is ranked way too low in my opinion. Giordano went. Damn. That sucks. That's okay though. Brandon, I had a feel. Oh, that was Mefnik. My bad. I didn't see that Brandon took Zibanejad. Okay, so this puts me in not in a sticky situation, but I definitely want to go defenseman next. Yeah, definitely want to go defenseman next, as far as I know. Dougie Hamilton is out there too, who I really like. I may go for him. A little bit of reach, but we're seeing so many defensemen go that why not? Seth Jones in this league is actually really good. I have him ranked 60th, so a little bit lower. I like Dumba, so I'm just gonna put some defensemen in here that I really like, that I think will fall a little bit. Like I have them over these Rileys and other people going. Oliver Ekman-Larsson is interesting. I of course love Chabot. And my last defenseman spot, this is crucial. This is one of the guys I really want to target, is Gudas. Especially in a benchless league, man, someone like Gudas is going to be massive. Edler is actually a sneaky player too for peripherals at the end with blocks. So Petrie as well, like in a benchless league, you know, the last 2 or 3 spots for defense. Okay, so Hamilton is gone. A lot of my favorite defenders are gone, which is kind of a problem because I don't want to reach too much for another one, but I may reach for Dahlin, actually. That may be who I reach for a little bit. Because he has some blocks, kind of. Bufflin went, wow, I didn't expect Bufflin to go that early. So we're seeing a big defenseman run here, which is good for me. Trocheck goes. So the defenseman run is kind of good for me. It means that there will be goaltenders for me. I can get my guy in Binnington. Yeah. But I may need to do defenseman. Like, I can live without Binnington. I definitely need to get my guy in a defenseman. At least this first bit. And then after that, I'll take... okay, Matt Murray and then Dumba goes. So it's my turn now. We saw a guy like Dumba go off the board. So Seth Jones may be an interesting option here. Okay, so let's take a look here at my rankings for a second. So Darnell Nurse is still on the board. He's going to be an awesome late option. Drew Doughty is still on the board, and I like him. Pierre-Luc Dubois is still out there. Dahlin. I'm afraid someone will take Dahlin from me. I don't know if they'll do it in these next few rounds. Okay, let's go. I want to get my guy in Dahlin and take him, and that's fine. Again, it's a little bit of a reach relative to everything else, and like I think they have him ranked way too low. I think they had him ranked like 90th or something like that. And Seth Jones goes right after me, so that was the other guy I was thinking of. The reason I didn't go Seth Jones is just because they've been doing this whole Werenski on the top power play sometimes with him, and you don't really know who's getting the top spot. So I'd prefer in having a guy like Dahlin, who I know is going to be the guy. I'm not really afraid of Risto taking his spot, although I'm kind of thinking of stacking him with Risto. If we look at the draft leaderboard now, how am I doing? I have slightly recovered in blocks, not entirely, but I've slightly recovered. I can make that up in other ways. That's okay. Doughty, Pierre-Luc Dubois is still out there, who I actually really like a lot. I should mark him because he's going to be a great late round grab if he falls far. And for projections, for anybody wondering that is watching this, my projections in this situation are a blend of a lot of different providers. So I'm blending together Dom, Cullen, Dauber, CBS for goaltenders, and a few other ones, Laidlaw, and a few other ones. I'm just blending them all together on an average and finding one like big common middle ground. So it's taking the conservative people, the people that are a little bit over, and bringing it all somewhere in the middle, which is technically how you usually get it a little bit more right. So as you see, so one of the things that I'm noticing now with forwards is a lot of the forwards that I like, the higher ranked forwards, are pretty far down the list now in terms of what I like. So I can sleep a little bit more on forwards. So I'm going to go goaltender here, and I think I'm going to get Binnington. The thing is, I like Grubauer. I think there's a ton of upside and wins there. The problem is, I like the team in front of Binnington way more than I like the team in front of Grubauer defensively. Wow, Doughty goes early. Damn, I'm also kind of thinking of taking a defenseman here. I'm debating defenseman, but all the defensemen I have here, like Ekman Larson, I think I can get on that next one. But I think if I took a defenseman, people would kind of freak out about defensemen. And I still have Grubauer and Dubnyk, and I don't think people would take them. Like if I could get, for example, OEL, who this could be an issue. Hold on. Let's see. So OEL is ranked 68th-ish. So yeah, 68th. Risto is the next best D. So I'm happy stacking Aristo later. Let's go Binnington. I got him later than his ADP too, so I'm okay with that. I get my guy in goal. Yeah, I'm happy getting my guy in goal. He's ranked 4th overall for me. This draft has really not gone very much. And Grubauer goes right after. I knew it. So if I wanted Grubauer, I would have had to get him. So I had to go goaltender there. I'm happy I got a goaltender instead of a defense so far. And so I think on this next turn, I want to shore up my goaltending and get a Dubnyk. And I'll feel really, really good about that. So a goaltender and then another forward probably. Although I am eyeing defense as well. If we look at player rankings here, Couturier is actually a very interesting one for me because I'm kind of low in points. If we look at my standings here, I'm 2nd, and I am kind of in the middle for points. I'm top of kind of all these peripheral stats, right? Like top of hits, towards the top of blocks. I'm low in assists and goals, and that's what I need to fix. Dubnyk went. Damn. Okay, so interesting. Kind of changes up my strategy just a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. There's still goaltenders I like, though. Ranta is still there, who's an interesting option. Saros is actually somewhat interesting. I think Hellebuck is also falling way too far. I'm happy to take it. I would happily take a flyer on Hellebuck at some point. Hart is still there, who I like, of course. Like I think one of these middle tier goalies is what I really want to get. Even Holtby, to be honest, now I'm okay with that. Now Brandon's on the clock. He probably should go a goaltender here. He has no goalies yet. So I'm guessing he's going to go goaltender. If he doesn't, I mean, also that's Brandon's way. He would just fade goaltenders. It's a benchless league too, so in a way, goaltenders of only three of the 10 categories, you can fade them quite a bit harder. There are pickups and there are trades, but it's benchless, so every spot counts. And Brandon goes Forsberg. Wow. Okay. So here, if I take a look at the leaderboard, yeah, what I'm kind of struggling in more than anything is goals and power play points. So let's take a look just here real quick. So this is who I want next, and this is who I was thinking about taking anyways. Is I want Hoffman. So I'm hoping Hoffman gets to me. Kopi late could be an interesting option. I want Palmieri pretty bad later. LeBanc is actually somewhat interesting. He's being pushed off the top power play, so I'm not buying that. Yandel's still there is interesting, but he doesn't really give you much aside from points and assists and power play points. Thomas Chabot is good. Like I said, I need goals, though. Monahan is interesting. Tons of points, tons of shots, or a good amount of shots. Gusev for a flyer late. Let's mark him just to make sure. Got Gostisbehere, who's a top power play guy, important. Anders Lee is an interesting option, as is Mark Stone this late. Okay, so we've got a good gauge here. But yeah, I need to go. Hoffman is my number one guy next if he gets there. So let's move him to the top of the queue here. Tom Wilson's still there is really cool too. I'm crushing it in PIMS. Dadler is the only other person that's close to me. But if I got a Wilson, I'd be absolutely crushing it. The problem here is that I'm deficient in power play points, goals, and assists. And by going for those, okay, he just went, so it doesn't matter. But by going for peripherals, it would put me in a tough spot to fix those points and power play points. I think it's time to start to fix those. So I think next up, I'd want to go a Hoffman and a goaltender. That's kind of the turn I think I'm planning. I could alternatively also go like a Hoffman and a Risto. Hoffman just went. Damn, Brandon. I knew Brandon would take Hoffman. Brandon's in a little bit of goalie trouble, though. He hasn't drafted a goaltender, and if a few goaltenders go, there's not that many left that are great. There's Carter Hart. There's Hellebuck. There's Holtby. But, man, you're starting to get into dangerous territory goaltender-wise. Nope, notification. I will be right back. Okay, so I didn't miss much here. I got Sean Couturier. Just went. Cool. Let's take a look here at the leaderboard. How it looks so far. So you can see here doing really well across the board. I mean, I'm feeling very, very good. This is fantastic. Doing quite well in terms of just across the board being very balanced. Brandon's doing well, but his PIMs are a problem, so I'm guessing he's going to try to address that later because it's a benchless league. He's just going to get a defenseman or something late that fills that out. So for me here, blocks are an issue. Power play points and goals are an issue for me. So that's why I liked Hoffman so much. So it's a little bit of a bummer that Brandon's the one who got him. Chabot now went. Makes sense. And then Stone after that. You know, another one that's slightly interesting for later at some point is going to be Jeff Skinner to I for me. Just because of goals, he could really fix a lot of my goal situation there. I remember I said, you know, Arvidsson is one. I like Kyle Connor. I like Arvidsson as well. I think I get Arvidsson later, though. Especially that power play points is an issue with him. Okay, so Stone goes. Shen. That feels a little early for Shen, but sure. Risto goes now. So it looks like defensemen are going. So I think I might get my guy in OEL now. Because Risto went, and the next best defenseman here is Oliver Ekman-Larsson. And that would give me three defensemen that are top power play, on good top power plays, in my opinion. Yeah, let's go. I also really like Monahan, to be honest. He would help me out a ton. Let's go Monahan. Not exactly the best option in the world from a ranking standpoint. I have him kind of low because he doesn't fill... no, O'Neill goes right after me. Man, whoever is drafting right after me knows Carl's cool team. Man, both Andrew and Carl keep taking guys that I have queued up or drafted or want to draft. But Monahan just helps me in exactly the categories that I need. So I'm okay with that. This next one is going to be a very difficult pick. I need to go either... I need to go goaltender, I think, or defenseman. This is a tough one. Yeah, this is a tough one here. like Falk later. The problem with defense is there's just not a lot that is out there for... I should probably grab my goaltender, honestly. The question is, do you go Carter Hart or Connor Hellebuck? Jeff Skinner just went. Okay, so if I look at my leaderboard now, I'm actually okay. And what I need is power play points more than anything. I can get that from someone later. I think it's time. I think I need to go goaltender here. The tough thing is I need to choose between a Carter Hart or Connor Hellebuck. Two rookie goaltenders. Well, Binnington's not a rookie, but... Man, this is tough. Because I could see Winnipeg being a complete dumpster fire. This is tough. I have them ranked literally exactly the same. Like, I'm gonna go Carter Hart just because I like him more. That's a Hart one. That's fine. It's also, let's queue up Mantha at some point. Cam McCarr could be interesting for power play points at some point. Okay. So Anders Lee to me is one of the big guys I could get. That's going to be a huge help for me. Is a lot of goals, decent amount of power play points. Could help me out a ton on my team. I'm really bummed I didn't get OEL. I probably should have gone OEL over Monahan, but that's fine. Now when I look at defense, all the best defensemen are peripheral guys. So Dubois goes. Another guy I like later is Anderson, Josh Anderson. Good peripheral guy. Anders Lee is probably who I'd want to grab at some point here soon. There goes Arvidsson. Goss's Bear is going to be another one that I want to target here at some point. Yeah, right now what I'm not liking is my power play points are bad. So I need to fix my power play points more than anything. Although, to be fair, I think Evander Kane's power play points are way too low at 9. I think those are going to be way higher, and so that'll help me out quite a bit. Yeah. Okay, feeling good about goaltenders, so at least I don't need to worry about goaltender anymore, which is very nice. like the Nylander pick that late. That's a good one. Mantha now goes. Okay. So we're seeing like so I think we're gonna run into a little bit of an issue at defense for everybody. I think there's value in grabbing like a Gossesbear or grabbing Petrie or Edler, that kind of thing. Damn it, Anders Lee went. I wanted him. I knew Brandon would grab Mantha. It made a ton of sense. I really wanted Anders Lee. So see, I'm curious because it's a benchless league, right? So I'm curious what will happen here with Landeskog. If I draft another center, what would happen? Would he even let me? Because it's a benchless, so I shouldn't be able to have a bench, I guess. But I should be able to move Landeskog into left wing. I like these right here, these wingers. All three of these. Kreider, Brown, and Palmieri. Love all of those. Kyle Connor I love too. I get he's not signed, but yeah, so I'm doing fine. Right now my issue is simply power play points. That's it. For that reason, I really like Palmieri. It will be a little bit of a reach, but at this point, I kind of need to get what I need to get. Gusev will be a really good one late. Gossesbear is going to be awesome, I think. And of course, Palmieri goes just as I'm talking about it. And Brandon's first goaltender is Varlamov. That'll be interesting. See, the thing with the benchless league is you can't just stream goaltenders. It's not that easy. Because you don't really have a bench. You have to drop a guy to pick somebody up. And so in a benchless, like, your goaltenders matter. You have to drop somebody to pick somebody up. Which makes it tough. So here, I really want to go defenseman, I think. Simply because there's so many forwards out there, and with 5 defenseman spots, we're starting to get down into the dangerous territory. So I think Falk is actually an interesting option here. I mean, I like the Edlers and the Petries and whatnot. But I think Falk is the move here. Ronta Backstrom, because I think if I could have an ideal rest of the draft, I'd go Falk, have 3 top power play defensemen. He just doesn't get many power play points. Ugh, it's so frustrating. He should get more on the power play, but he doesn't. It's so frustrating. Man. I don't really like reaching for any of the other people that I was going to reach for. The only other person I think about reaching for is like a Edler or something like that. But let me see if there's anybody else I like. I'll just go Falk. It doesn't leave me in a great spot, but that's okay. There's also upside if he gets traded or something. I think now I have one. I have two more defenseman spots. These next two defenseman spots will most likely be peripheral guys. So now I need to go after forwards that are going to get me points. That are going to get me. Yeah. So Gostisbehere is probably. There's honestly a debate for going Gostisbehere Morrissey at some. Like I want to go for Morrissey at some point. I think. There's a case to go Gostisbehere next, honestly. Because defensemen are so rare and so difficult, and then you look at all the wingers that are left, and like there's still a lot of wingers left, but not that many defensemen. And the nice thing is that when everybody else is going to be needing centers late, or defensemen late, I'll be grabbing forwards, which is perfect. Although right now, most people, Carmichael has. Are you serious? Carmichael has 0 defensemen. Oh, he's in trouble. Oh, he's in some serious trouble. 5 defenseman spots, and he hasn't taken one. Yeah, that's trouble. A few people have only 1. Brandon has 3. Sean has 4. Rogerson has 1. Yeah, Morrissey's actually a really good pick as well next. Maybe a little bit early, but he has so much upside and will get you power play points still. A lot of blocks, a lot of hits, shots on goal. Interesting. And Carmichael continues to not take defensemen. I think he has a plan, just no defensemen. Shea Theodore is a really good one too, with a lot of upside. So yeah, I'm going to be falling behind a little bit in goals, but I'm doing good in the rest. I'm pretty well balanced out here. Yeah, Carmichael is in serious defense trouble, and he takes Nugent Hopkins. I mean, just trouble peripheral wise, in a ton of trouble peripheral wise. And according to this, it says I'm towards the bottom, which I don't really buy that much. I know my power play points are bad. That's my big problem here. I'm gambling quite a bit on hoping other people get to me. So like if we look at forwards, let's say left wings here, I still like a lot of these left wings, right? Especially for upside. I still like a lot of these guys. I like DeBrusque, for example. I like Dadonov, that he's still there. I like those guys a lot. The problem here is my power play points. Now Leonard goes, so Josh Anderson went. I think Gostisbehere is the move here. Again, I may run into some issues forward-wise, but I think when you're looking at a forward, right, like it's going to be easier to replace a forward, and then I can get Edler, I think, on like some other turn or something. I'll just get Edler somewhere. See, the thing is, you can't replace, like it's an ad league, but it is a benchless. It's easier to replace a forward who's not on the power play anymore than it is a defenseman, because there's just not that many defensemen on the top power play. So I think I can fix my power plays, if that ends up being a big problem, later on via forward than defense. And on defense, like there'll be a few options, but I think that going defenseman here is the right move. It also makes me think a little bit about that Aho pick, and in that time, maybe I should have taken, I think at that Aho pick, if I would have taken a John Carlson like I was thinking, might have set me up a little bit better, but I think I'm okay with Gostisbehere there. And that jumps me up to 3rd overall, according to however the hell they do this. According to my leaderboard, I feel good. Right now, my one big issue is going to be goals. That's kind of what I'm running into here of a problem. So I don't need defensemen anymore. Let's look at Kyle Connor is probably who I want. Cam Atkinson is also a fantastic option late, just for the goals perspective. If you want to win peripherals in a benchless league, one good really late grab is going to be Blake Coleman, just for peripherals alone. Although right now I don't really need much in the way of peripherals. I need points. I actually really like Makar as well as a defense. Another interesting person that's still here is Pacioretty. He has quite a bit of goal upside, honestly. Edler goes, so I thought. So I will not be getting Edler. It's okay. And then Theodore went right after me. Okay, so, and then Petrie went right after that, so we're seeing all the kind of... Does Gudas get blocks? I don't remember. He does. Okay, so Gudas is actually someone... I may legitimately reach for Gudas next and just say, you know what? Screw you. I have all the hits and peripherals. No one's beaten me in that, ever. Because there's still quite a few power play guys out there. Kyle Connor's still there. You know, on the turn, I can get like a Cam Atkinson or DeBrusque or something like that. Then Patches goes... There's still a lot of forwards I like left in my rankings towards the top. Jonathan Toews is still there, which is shocking. I could fit Toews. If I were to move Landeskog to the left wing, keep Monahan as a util, put Toews here. Toews is an option. Toews is definitely an option. Dustin Brown continues to fall, which he shouldn't. Chris Kreider is still there. Barzell is also an option for a power play guy. Cam Atkinson goes now. Yeah, Monahan may have been a slightly bad pick. I think I may, yeah, I don't know. I'm whatever. I'm indifferent on him. Not like in love, but not really anti him either. So Brandon took Patches, which makes sense. Brandon is doing well. His problem is PIMS right now, which I figure he thinks he can fix with a given some kind of defenseman. But or with somebody here, I guess. Zach Cassian is interesting because he gets so many PIMS. And he's probably going to be top line in Edmonton, it seems. Maybe. He can kind of fix it depending on who's out there, but I want Gudas. Yeah, I mean, this late, it's about Dustin Brown now goes. Okay. I knew Brandon. Brandon's grabbing some of the guys that I like. Not surprised by that. Kopi goes, Bertuzzi, and Chernak. Oh, Chernak went, so that means, yeah, I'm going to grab... I'm going to grab Gudas if he falls to me. When we look at, from a hits perspective, he's up... I like Lawson Krause a lot this year, actually. Lawson Krause is interesting. Morrissey went. Damn. Blocks, you're looking at Chris Russell, Andy Green. Okay. Gusev went. Let's fill this in really quick and then take a look at my ranks and see what's out there. Okay, so I'm up. So let's take a look here at what's out there. So Jonathan Toews is actually the best next thing for me. I think he actually makes the most sense. The problem is he doesn't get that many goals. Kreider went. I missed that. Okay, I guess I'll go Taze. Okay, cool. I don't know why he's on the bench. Okay, let's catch up here. So Atkinson and then O'Reilly, Dustin Brown. I missed when Kreider went. Went 129th. Feels a little early for Kako. Maybe, I guess, upside betting on, but... Okay. I guess what this does is it just puts people on bench for you. So I need right wing now. So I'm going to need to start targeting. Quinton goes. So I need one more D, and that'll be Gudas next, I think. I do like Ekblad quite a bit, actually. So right now on the leaderboard for me, I'm looking really good. Still kind of need some help in goals. My blocks are falling behind a little bit. Goals are still the issue I need to solve the most. So if I take a look, Kyle Connor is the best kind of goal guy here. I mean, he's not signed. He may get... JVR is a good option this late as well. Zucker, DeBrusque, Duchesne. Huh. I don't hate... So, Ekblad 186, 101, 103. Kyle Connor is probably the smartest pick at this point. Probably. Yeah. I can fix my blocks elsewhere. I mean, I'm okay with Connor. I'm assuming Connor will resign. It looks like there might be talk of a offer sheet happening. I also really like Kreider. Tough. Oh, Kreider went. I forgot. Yeah, I think this is the time. I'll take the risk. He'll be signed at some capacity. I'm happy to have him at some point. Fills in left wing, so I can't. Okay, so I should target right wing pretty much exclusively now. Okay, because Landeskog will go into that left wing spot, and then right wings. Okay, cool. So now we're pretty much only drafting defensemen and right wings. That's what's happening here. Faded right wing about as hard as you possibly can. Hornquist is interesting this late. He could have a pretty good boon for power play points if he gets to be on the top power play or plays with... he could potentially play with Malkin, which I don't hate. TJ Oshie just went. That's another guy I would have liked to get. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these teams. 1 defense and Quinn Hughes is the first. My, oh my. I don't think Makar is gone. I may actually go Makar at some point here. Take a little bit of a gamble. Although I really want Gudas. I think if Gudas gets to me on that next turn, I'll probably take him. Take a look at this team. And then Makar goes. Okay, so Gudas is still the guy to get. Okay. So now let's take a look here. What happens? So look at that. Kyle Connor saved me in goals. It moved me from towards the bottom, sort of, to towards the top. So now what I need to do is on this next one, this is why Gudas is so big, is I can really make up this block and hit differential. And then after that, target some right wingers that fill out these things. So I'm not bad in power play points. It's not like don't get the color wrong. 11.4 is still very, very competitive. Pims is really kind of another place that I can get better at. But I'm doing well. There's only a few people above me. There's only 2 people above me. So the color is one thing, but it's just because this person is so high up. So I'm still looking really, really good here. That's a great spot for Jack Hughes. Fantastic spot for Jack Hughes. Brandon got him, of course. What am I doing in these standings? These standings don't like me very much. Which is fine. I still, the power play points, I'd add like 20 to this because of, so put me at 39, so right around here. If you account for, oh, well, not 20, sorry. More like maybe 15-ish to Vander Kane. I'm really happy with how this draft has gone for me so far. Extremely, extremely happy. And now I think if I can get Gudas, I'm in a really good spot. Then I can go to Brusque. I can go Reinhardt. I would love to go Kraus. The problem is I don't have any left wing spots, so I can't go Kraus, unfortunately. So I think my 3 right wings I want here are this. Pretty much virtually this order. I want DeBrusque, I want Reinhardt, and I want Hornquist. And then if not, I can get Coleman as well. But those are kind of my 3 big ones. And I want Gudas on defense. Or Ekblad. I think Ekblad is a kind of consolation prize to Gudas. Not a great consolation prize, but something. I mean, I think if I miss out on Gudas, I pivot, take Ekblad, and take Simmons. And Simmons will fill out my hits. And also, honestly, has power play upside. That's Simmons went now. That's a great spot for Simmons. I kind of wish I would have. I somewhat wish I would have waited so I could get Lawson Krause. I really like Lawson Krause. Now Ehlers is also interesting here. Actually, I just remembered I messed something up here. Let's do this and this and that. Okay. Yeah, Blake Coleman. Also, another guy that's kind of fallen a little bit. That's interesting is Nino. I like him a lot too. I like him higher. I have him ranked 110 versus his 184 here. I think I have Zucker in here. I don't have Zucker. Zucker's another really good one to pay attention to. Very, very good one. Miller is out there as well, who I like. JT Miller. A lot of upside. Konechny has some upside. There's quite a few right wings here. I mean, I have my favorites. I know who I want. So what you're looking at on the queue is pretty much what I'm going to target almost exactly to a T. The only other guy I'd think about taking a flyer on, but I think I can grab late or just kind of pick up, is Buchnevich. But not super high on him. Yeah, if I could get Gudas, that'd be massive. I'm actually going to put him into my sheet right now and see what he looks like. What that does to my team when I add him. Because that could be big. It probably puts me in a really good spot for... Okay, it raises my blocks to around 2.7, so it makes me good for 4th in the league. Doesn't increase my hits as much as I would have liked. Maybe I need more of a goon than Gudas, actually. Hard to believe, huh? Okay, Grandland. Damn. Great spot for Hischier. Yeah, I have so many right wings available to me that I really like. And Gudas went right. I think he's drafting with like the same exact. Okay, hold on. Let's see what I'm gonna take a defense here. I think because I just have so many forward options that I don't really care, but I want to get my guy in defense. So Gudas went, which sucks. Ekblad is the next best by quite a bit. I mean, look, if I don't like Ekblad later, what I can do is I can always drop him for a... This might leave me a little bit in trouble for blocks. Let me see if there's anyone here. Like, I could just be ballsy and take Martinez and not get anything else. See, he gives me a lot of blocks. Doesn't give me the same power play points. Not the same pims. I'm going to go Ekblad here. Yeah. Okay, so now I think I need like a Blake Coleman. Yeah, so that leaves me in a good spot, but I need to... Okay. See, Blake Coleman gets about 50 blocks, so does Hornquist, so he's a good option. Okay. So now we need right wingers. Yeah, I may end up dropping Ekblad or someone for blocks when I start losing blocks during the season. There's a good chance that happens. So right wing is hands down my weakest position, but that's okay in my opinion. There's a lot of options in right wing right now, and then also there will be a lot of options I think to pick up. Carmichael is in deep hell when it comes to peripherals. Okay, so the next best left wing right winger here is going to be Coleman, and Zucker, and Hornquist. So, and I am very even across the board so far. I could use goals though. Let's take a look at. Okay, Pareko goes fine. I'm so happy I got defensemen early. I would be bummed if this was what I was left with on defense. Okay, so now we're looking at rankings here. You know, the thing is that you look at like a Zucker's the next best in goals. And then there's DeBrusque. Zucker I've been seen go like very last. Okay, I think I'll go with one of DeBrusque or Zucker at some point. But right now I'm going to go with the higher ranked guy. I think I might go Hornquist, actually. Go Hornquist and then finish off. Yeah, I'll take the upside in Hornquist. Yeah, I like the upside in Hornquist. Hornquist fills things out for me very, very nicely. Still, I mean, my big... I think the one category that's going to be hard for me to win is going to be blocks. I'm going to be okay in everything else. Blocks is going to be the one thing that I struggle in. If you take a look at... yeah, so here I am. Very good in shots on goal. It's going to be hard to beat me in shots on goal. I'm going to compete in power play points, according to this, from a relative strength perspective. Be fine in PIMs. Not fantastic, but very, very competitive in PIMs. I'll be competitive in these two. I'm actually closer than it seems, too, from a color standpoint. Second best in goals, which is awesome. Recovered very nicely in power play points. That used to be in red. Blocks is where I'm struggling, but that's okay. I can fix that if need be by dropping like an Ekblad or something. Not the end of the world. And now I just got to hope here that the people that I want in those right wings get back to me. So I think coming up here next, the last two picks that I want to do, I think one of Zucker or DeBrusque and Coleman. Reinhardt being kind of like a consolation if Zucker and DeBrusque go. I know it seems like Yaku doesn't like my team that much, but I'm very happy with it. It's funny how different the projections are for goals, right? Like I have, by my sheet, I'm quite higher in goals than this says, so I'm fine. I'm going by my projections, not RotoWire's. Yes, I couldn't. I'm very happy I went Burns early. It really put me in a good position to take defensemen and fading right wing and left. Fading wings is fine to me. Like that felt good. I maybe could have faded centers. I think that Monahan pick is the one that I wish I would have taken back. I wish I would have done something different with that Monahan pick. But other than that, like I feel like this is totally going perfectly. Brandon went Zadorov to try to fill out those hits. Kind of like what I thought. I thought he'd try to fix those hits and whatnot very late. Brandon's trouble is assists. That's where he's lowest in by a little bit of margin. He's not doing great in blocks either. Now Reinhardt goes. Okay, so that's the last guy on my list, which is okay. I'm okay missing out on Reinhardt. Remember, we're eyeing Zucker or DeBrusque and Coleman. Those are our three guys. And then I'll take Konechny as fine. Everything kind of went wrong. But most people have filled out their wings, so I should be, for the most part, okay. Like you look at most people, almost everyone has their wings filled out. So I'm going to get the wings I want here, which is awesome. Only Dadler, who is ahead of me, needs a right wing, so he might take one of the guys I need. Rogerson also needs a wing. He's above me. A right wing. Only D and Util. Then I need a right wing. And I have a bench here, but I'm going to move that guy in. That's okay. Ronick. Sure, for Brandon. So Brandon fills out his defense with Ronick. I'm pretty sure that's him filling out his defense, right? Yep. So he just needs a goaltender. Oh, boy. What is he going to do? I mean, who is even left for goaltenders here? that would be worth it. I mean, I guess you could grab a UC Saros or something. In a league like this where it's benchless, I would actually not hate doing Saros and Rene. And then what would have happened, I thought about it. I thought about taking a Rene really early at that time, that I was like, oh, maybe I should take Rene, and then waiting until exactly now to take a Saros. Because you probably not really lose goals against average or save percentage on most nights. You'd be punting wins, which is fine. But save percentage and goals against average would be what you'd have a pretty good margin on. The other interesting thing that I see Brandon doing, which seems to be it, is that there are a lot of goalies late here that are going to be fighting for a starting role. But I don't really see exactly who he's going to take. There's really no good goalies left. Seriously. Okay, so Dadler took Kasha, which is actually not the right wing I wanted, so cool. The question here is, what do I need the most? And I could still use goals. You can never use too many goals. I think what I'm going to look at here is who's stronger in power play points between those two. So if we look at who's the highest power play points that's left, of those two at least. Who's actually still out there? Josh Bailey is kind of interesting just from straight points perspective. Awful last year, but I mean, look at that. There's a lot there. I think I'd like Zucker. Yeah, I like Zucker over DeBrusk here. I probably go Coleman first, though, and then go one of Zucker or DeBrusk. Everyone's saying good pick on Duchesne, but I have him. Where do I have him? Let's see. Oh, I have all my centers turned off right now, so. Yeah, I have Coleman ranked 108 and Zucker ranked 115. So if I can get one of those two guys, I will be absolutely thrilled. And then there's Travis Konechny, who's 150. Yeah. Then DeBrusk is down to 219, but the thing is, he just gets me so many power play points that it's be good. Yes, so I get my guy at least in Coleman. I mean, I'm a little worried. Zucker. I'm gonna take Coleman. I like Coleman there a lot. I just gotta hope and pray that I don't think anyone else needs right wing though, so I should be okay. I mean, unless someone takes a util spot of right wing, then that's the only place I could see Zucker kind of not getting to me. But I think I'm gonna be okay. In which case, I will have built the team I exactly wanted to build. So. Yeah, they really, really don't. Oh, Spurgeon went. That scared me. Yeah, I mean, watching, like, I think Carmichael is the perfect example of what happens when you wait for defensemen late in this year. I mean, you're ending up with, like, having to take Charlie McAvoy, Heiskanen, Spurgeon, and Gardner last. That's brutal, especially in a league that's 5 defensemen with peripherals. Like, you're going to be in trouble. It's going to be really tough to recover. And you're going to be struggling in power play points because you have 4 spots that are not top power play. Yeah, not great. Not great. Come on, get me my guy, and I'll be super happy. Get me Zucker. And I guess I'll settle for Konechny, but Konechny's ranked 150th versus Zucker's 115. So close, so close. Okay, Eric Stahl. Good, good, good. Come on, come on. Only one more. Don't snipe me. Who does Ehlers? Yes. And we get our guy in Zucker, and my team is complete. Boom. And there you go. I am thrilled with my team. Jason Zucker, and let's keep filling this in so we can talk about the draft board here. Oh, I love that sucker pick. I fell a little bit far in assists, actually. That's the one thing I didn't fall far. I'm competitive in assists, but not super high in assists. That's okay. I am first in goals by quite a margin, so goals are gonna be tough. I would rather be high in goals and hope that some of those get converted into assists than the other way around. That hope assists get turned into goals. So I see more likely that a guy gets less goals but more assists than more goals and less assists. Normally, I feel that that's a lot harder to do. Shots on goal is going to be very, very hard to beat me in this year. The relative strength index versus like what Yahoo's saying here in totals, for me at least, is much bigger. So I'm very, very happy with how that draft went for me. And again, like I've said before, I really love that fourth spot. I think again the only pick that I would have changed is maybe Monahan, and I may entertain a trade there. Move in Monahan for somebody, but otherwise I really like where I'm at. Comtois with the late flyer. Fine. I very much think this is like a set it and forget it league. So it's similar to like a best ball. So really, the way I'm looking at it is you just want the best guy possible. It's not like Max Comtois is fine as a flyer in like a bench league, but for a league like this where every week counts, every single spot counts, the upside for Comtois is not necessarily an upside that is worth it in this league, in my opinion. But we'll see, I guess. McDonough, Devtaze, Brandon gets Riddick. My God, not pretty. So who's gonna be the last pick here? Wow, this is taking a while. The suspense. I'm very happy with how I ended up. I kind of wished I would have done a little bit more in the assists category, but again, I think that's one that, like I said, there's a few guys on my team that I can see getting more assists than they're projected for. Like I could see Kane getting way more assists than he's projected for. Landeskog, maybe if he has a killer year. I mean, there's a few guys. Like I think Hornquist playing with if he plays with Malkin, and then Borgetski goes last. Okay. So let's take a look at. I don't even have him in here. Oops. I guess he's not projected. Whatever. Okay, so let's take a look here at what the leaderboard looks like. So now that the draft is over. Okay, so now that we're looking at it, surprisingly, I have one of the highest. I did pretty poorly with blocks. Blocks is going to be my one kind of hurting point, which is fine. I'm okay with that. I think I can. And I guess the draft breaks when it does this. Whatever. Let's go fix my team really quick too, just so I can move these guys into where they should be. Blake Coleman into right wing, and then Jonathan Toews up here. Cool. And I do have an out guy, and we have IR plus, so I can put Kyle Connor at IR plus and immediately pick up somebody. Well, we have Fab, so I'll have to do something there. Okay, cool. So let's take a look here real quick at the leaderboard. So Carmichael, like I said, great in assists, just dreadful everywhere else. And the reason that this is so dreadful here is because of defensemen. Like you can't wait on defensemen that long. You're gonna hurt in these peripherals, and PIMs are really bad there too. Tom also kind of not great in the peripheral categories. You can see that in this league, clearly some people kind of faded those. I'm thrilled with how I did. I think the other team that did as well as me is Mefnik. Crushed it. I think that I would probably put myself and Mefnik as the top two teams in this league. And then after that, I'd probably potentially to Brandon. Although I also like Babcock's team here. Low variance as well. Andrew, the problem is low variance, but everything's kind of weak. And nothing's really average. It's a little bit too low. A little too low for my liking. What else is out here? Let's see. So, yeah, I mean, here I think the thing that you see with a lot of people in this draft is a lot of people are really strong in some areas and really weak in others. So like Dadler, really strong in PIMs, really strong in these peripherals, not as strong in the points. So didn't really fix the points thing early enough, in my opinion. Tom, you see kind of the opposite thing, really strong in assists, good power play points, competitive power play points, but really weak in everything else. So that's, I think, the story of this draft so far. And we'll see how future listener leagues go, especially after people can watch this video. But I'd say that that's kind of the one thing that you saw. And hopefully me drafting, I think for the next one, I'll try to keep this up a little bit more so you can see how I use my ranks and how I do that to then, like, I'll flip back and forth more so you can see. But for the most part, you see how, you know, a balanced team is what's important here. You don't want to be too over-indexed anywhere. And like here, for example, I'm extremely competitive in goals, extremely competitive in PIMs, like the best in PIMs, best in goals, best in shots on goal, but I'm extremely competitive in assists, extremely competitive in power play points, very competitive in hits. It's going to be a little tough in blocks, but that's relatively easy to fix with like a Chris Russell over an Ekblad. For example, if Ekblad's not really doing much for me, I can pick up a solely block guy, and that immediately kind of fixes this. Because I'm so good in shots, I don't really need Ekblad's shots. So that's kind of what I'm eyeing. But that's really what you want to do in a Cats League, is be very kind of balanced out. And other than that, thank you for watching. We'll see you for the next Listener League. And if you haven't already, be sure to join Discord. Check us out on check out our podcast. And other than that, follow us on Twitter, which you can see right down below, @FantasyHockeyPD. Other than that, yep. Thanks for watching. See you next time.